Nancy Grace to Tatum. You got that right. How he presented himself against Stephen A. Smith, against Nancy Grace. I did peep that. You came dressed for court to go on Nancy Grace. You sure did.
Get out there!
Shout out to all the subscribers and the members here on the channel. Don't forget to like the video, and salute to everybody supporting the channel over at thepeoplesgetup.com. Don't forget to send your merch pics to me at admin@ReeseWaters.com. This is Who Raised Y'all, where we highlight those unique individuals going above and beyond to make society worse.
Black people commit over half of all murders in this country.
Did you read the book?
I did not read the book.
You are uneducated.
I did it for a living.
That's cool
and
story,
you did not.
bro.
If you're 25 and under, the leading cause of death for you is being murdered by another black person.
Think you foolish.
You know, the kinds of people you'll see asking to speak to the manager at the pearly gates.
I want to talk to the manager.
Now, Officer Tatum, we have been here quite a bit now, haven't we?
Oh shit, here we go again.
Brand new Officer Tatum action desk. He's got one position.
Israel first. Change my mind.
And he will not budge. Press his cap and watch him nod in agreement all day long.
Illegal Haitian. Okay, got it. So we want to highlight the one illegal Haitian and air him out after, because they haven't suffered enough after the last election cycle. So that was well done. Oh, I see DEI. You definitely can't go. You can't go 10 videos without mentioning DEI. So he got his DEI quota in there. We've discussed your stances on a great number of things where you suspiciously always end up as the milk dud in the whipped cream.
What do you mean by that?
The milk dud and the whipped cream.
What?
That's not what y'all. That's what we've been saying. Well, you know the whole point. You know, you get what I'm saying.
Wrong.
But here's the thing, Officer Tatum, and this is why you're here on Who Raised Y'all. What is it that I said when the brother was out here bragging about scamming MAGA with the Shiloh Hendrix thing? Huh? What was it that I said?
Hey, I scam MAGA. Hey, MAGA, give me that bread.
I need to ask, who's teaching the youth? Huh? Who is teaching the youth? What happened to each one teach one? And what was it that I told the brother who scammed MAGA, had the whole song about Charlie Kirk and he ran? What was it that I said then?
I scammed MAGA for 30 bands.
I got the money in rent. Sorry, not that part. The part where I addressed the dry snitching. Where you found out? Like, what happened? What happened? Were they threatening to go public? Why would you be making a TikTok telling everybody that you did a scam? What's going on with the youth today? Yep, that's right. That is right. So here's the thing. The first rule of grifting, Officer Tatum, is you don't make it so hot. You don't make your grift so obvious for all the world to see. And you for damn sure, if you getting involved in criminal justice, don't want to tangle with Nancy Grace. You don't want that kind of smoke.
You're saying the park ranger found him. That leads me to believe there were no friends. There was no newly met girlfriend. So am I left to believe that he goes out swimming all on his own and the friend girl leaves, the mates from school leave, everybody just leaves him out in the water and he dies and then just conveniently washes ashore? Somebody just left him out in the water? Does that make sense to you?
It sure don't, Nancy Grace. It sure don't, Nancy Grace, and I'm glad you asked that question. Apparently that made sense to Officer Tatum, so much so that he decided he wanted this smoke, Nancy Grace.
Nolan Wells bombshell tonight. The dead teen's messages deleted after his body washes ashore. Caitlin, now allegations have reared their ugly head that his phone has been tampered with and items have been deleted. Explain.
They had his phone. And when his mother was looking for his phone when he was missing, there were two different ways to identify it, either a Snapchat location or a Life 360 location. They showed different locations, which is very possible because one updates automatically, the other only updates when you open the app. But when she finally tracked it down, she says there was nothing on it from that day.
Must be one of those coincidences, huh, Officer Tatum? Huh? Oh, no, you're going to get your opportunity. You're going to get that smoke. Don't worry. I'm just getting her warmed up.
Bombshell tonight in the tragic death of a young man, Nolan Wells. In the last hours, we learn the contents of a second independent autopsy on Nolan's body.
Preliminary report, second autopsy, death of Nolan Xavier Wells. Cause of death, undetermined, pending investigation. The manner of death, undetermined, pending investigation.
Making the water even more murky. And the COD, cause of death, and MOD, manner of death. That's from our friends at NAACP. What happened to Nolan Wells?
And you know what, Nancy Grace? I very much appreciate you applying pressure the way that you are. The way that he and his family deserves. And what is that they say about pressure? It busts pipes. I guess it busts grifts too.
Have the friends taken polygraphs?
Well, from my understanding, all but I believe one took a polygraph, and from what was told to me that they all passed. And all of the ones that took a polygraph took one without a lawyer. And they cooperated with law enforcement. So from my understanding, everybody took a polygraph test. Why do you say that's
from what you understand? Did they tell you they took a poly and passed?
Thank you, Nancy. Thank you. Thank you. From what I understand. Huh? From what I understand. What was it that we said in that last video about media literacy? Pay attention. Pay attention. And granted, whatever it was they said to me, I'm just going to repeat from what I understand.
So yes, ma'am. They told me that they did it. I wasn't there. So that's what I'm saying from my understanding. They told me that all the boys except one, which is Warren, I believe, took a polygraph test. All of them did not have lawyers and did it and cooperated with police. Warren also cooperated with police. I just believe he didn't take a lie detector test, but Warren is the young man that I interviewed. So
wait a minute. Didn't you just say they all took it? They all took it? And now we're excluding Warren, who's the guy that you talked to. So how did the others get this understanding that you have that they took a lie detector test? And how often are we going to start excluding somebody? Because it ain't been but 10, 15 seconds. Huh? In another 2 minutes, are you going to exclude everybody?
According to what they told me, they all took a lie detector test and passed. And it's an equivalent of a lie detector test. It's not a traditional lie detector test.
Hold up. Wait a minute. Something ain't right.
I'm sorry, come again.
And it's an equivalent of a lie detector test.
The equivalent of a lie detector? The equivalent of a lie detector test? Nancy Grace, you better get him. You better get him.
But it's the same theology.
Hold up.
Theology.
Wait a minute. Something ain't right.
Of trying to get to if a person is lying. I don't know the name of it. It's an equivalent of a lie detector test. It's a different methodology. I don't believe it was a polygraph test. I believe they took other stressors in order to analyze if
So
the
then
people were
the
telling the
answer
truth or
to
not.
did they take a polygraph would be no.
Not only is the answer to did they take a polygraph, no. The answer to did they take fill in the blank is no, because you don't even know the name of what they took. And you don't even know what it does because you sitting there fumbling talking about, I believe it tests other stressors. What, did they have a massage therapist trying to see how much stress was up around the neck? It could have been anything you're talking about. But this is how it goes. From what I understand, we going with a lie detector test that they all pass, from what I understand.
Well, yeah, I think it could be semantics.
I think it could be semantics. See, semantics are kind of two words that roughly mean the same. You don't even know what they took. So how? You don't even know what they took. They could have took a Snickers. That ain't semantics with a polygraph test. You have no idea what they took.
I think it could be semantics because they took a test to analyze whether or not they were being truthful in their statements, and that certified test, they passed it. It just wasn't considered a traditional polygraph. I think it's a more advanced way of doing it.
Brandon Tatum.
You heard that? I think it's a more advanced way. I think it's a more advanced way of doing it. The test that you don't know what it is. The test that you don't know what it does. I think it tests other stressors. The tests that I think it tests other stressors. I don't know. That's more advanced. Is that what we're going with? And keep in mind what it means that this is where they went to share their message.
In a nutshell, Joe Scott, there is a difference between a polygraph, which measures all sorts of body signals, your sweat, your breathing, your heart, your blood pressure, all sorts of things, and an audio verification test.
Is this guy serious? Is this guy really serious? Yeah, coming to you live from the Valley. Is this guy serious? Saying that it's a matter of semantics? The truth is not about semantics, my friend. Deception is about semantics. That's somebody saying that it's up to your interpretation. Now, there's only one interpretation of the truth, and that's the truth. That's exactly what it is. It's not open for discussion. It's not open for interpretation. Okay, and then on top of that, for this guy to say that he said theology, does he even know what that word means? You're talking about Ben Crump, and you're using words about theology to say that BS test and a polygraph are of the same theology? Nah, man. This dude's a clown. For real.
Oh, no doubt. No doubt. I was waiting for him to bring up paleontology. You know, the way she buried him, and she ain't done.
I couldn't imagine that they want to get underage drinking on camera. So what they had articulated to me that it wasn't abnormal for people not to snap and not to do a lot of pictures and things like that because they were focused on
But you
being
told
off
me
of the
they
mainland.
showed you pictures and videos.
Yeah,
so
but
they
it's
did
not
take
uploaded.
pictures and videos.
No. It's not a lot of pictures and they weren't uploaded. So when you're talking about Snapchat, you're talking about a platform where people are uploading images and pictures to produce to the world. What they showed me were things that they had recorded on their phone, and it wasn't a lot of different things because most of what they did was drinking and having fun in the water. And so, what they had articulated to me as well is that it's not abnormal for people not to snap. It's not abnormal for you not to have your phone. And Nolan wasn't the only person that left his phone on the boat. They also mentioned to me, and you could see it in the interview that they did, was that they had no reason to touch Nolan's phone. They weren't thinking about Nolan's phone when they thought the boat was sinking. And when they got to the house, it was no incident when it comes to Nolan getting the phone back to the friend and parent.
You're going far afield from my question. Let me redirect you back to their phones. Nolan has nothing on his phone. They have pictures and videos on their phones. You told me that they exist, whether they posted them or not. So they were taking pictures and videos. Don't you see why the mom, Nolan's mom, is concerned there's nothing on her son's phone?
Well, Nancy, it's unclear exactly what the mother is articulating.
I think you have Nolan's mother confused with yourself. I think you confuse you with the mother. Because we all unclear on what exactly you are trying to articulate, other than the fact that free the white boys. Like, that's literally the only thing that you are trying to articulate. Quite poorly, I might add. And I would say with the effort, if this is where we are already when it comes to their public defense, you know what I mean? Then in one of them's mother, a judge, and they couldn't get a better advocate than Officer Tatum, the guy who will take your side no matter what. This doesn't prove anything. It's indicting by his presence.
Officer Tatum, are you telling me that they had reception on Horn Island? Because many people are saying, well, the reason that there's nothing on Nolan's phone of that day, like there's no pictures, there's no snaps, there's no text, there's no anything, not because it was deleted, but because he didn't have reception. But you're telling me the other boys did have snaps, photos, videos, and reception?
Yeah, no.
Y'all see his face? Y'all see his, I know that look. I know that look. I know that look. That's the look I had when my mama had to pick me up from school when I got suspended in junior high. I know that look. Get him.
No, Nancy, let me clarify this for you. It wasn't that they uploaded this online. They showed me videos and things that they took from the boat during the outing on 4th of July. I was personally out at Horn Island. I rode out there on a boat, and I didn't have great reception there. And I left my phone in the boat when I got into the water and we were actually going out to do interviews.
Objection. Objection. You've been in court long enough to know you're going to get objections. You said you didn't have great reception, but you did have reception, did you not?
I know my verdict. I know my verdict. Y'all can keep going with that, but I know my verdict. I know what I'm looking at. Fry 'em up.
The jury will now go off and deliberate on... Get out there! Get out there!
No, there was reception there. It just wasn't great, and it wasn't great enough for people, in my opinion, to upload. You can make a phone call, potentially, but you wasn't going to upload data to a social media account. Now, could people take the steps to do it if they're dedicated enough? Yes, but it doesn't appear that would have been a frequent thing, given the fact that you probably had 1 or 2 bars out there. And I heard evidence of that. Not only did I see evidence of it when I went out there myself personally with my cell phone, when I listened to the CETO call, you could tell that the call dropped out several times. It seemed like they were having trouble at times hearing each other. So it is consistent. And anybody that travel out there that have gone to the 4th of July celebration, they know that the reception is not very great. So the videos that they showed me in call logs were things that were not associated to social media, that they never posted on social media. It was, pictures and videos that they took on their phone.
Did you just sit there and tell me you could maybe make a phone call, but you're not going to be uploading to a social media account? You know, because I have tried to post on 1 or 2 bar. I don't really be calling too much on so you just feel like you could just say anything then, huh? You could just feel like, You feel like you could just say anything. You know what? I guess for the hourly rate. I guess for the hourly rate. You know, that's how that works. But we all heard this. No, they gonna drag you. They gonna drag you. Nancy Grace to Tatum. You got that right. How he presented himself against Stephen A. Smith, against Nancy Grace. I did peep that. You came dressed for court to go on Nancy Grace. You sure did. Oh, he sure enough did, Stephen A. He sure enough did. And you know what? There's no better representation of his complete disregard for the black community on your show. Of all people, on your show. And then was trying to invite Benjamin Crump on his platform. Was you going to do that interview shirtless? With that level of... That's a daggone shame. Well, as angering and potentially triggering as that might have been for some people, here's what I want to focus on. I want to focus on the fact that this is where they went for their defense, and it's looking this shoddy already, and what the ramifications of that are. But I also want to focus on the fact that this man has gone so far down the road with his grift that it has been stripped completely bare. We can all see him now. We've been seeing it for a long time. Now everybody sees it.
There's a whole industry in this country that pays top dollar for one product. A black man willing to tell white audiences that racism is over. And Brandon Tatum, Officer Tatum, Employee of the Month, every month. Listen, from a PR perspective, this man is a masterclass in how to lose a community, okay? Number one, trust. He did his years as a Tucson cop, then built an entire career explaining why every single police shooting was justified. Every single one. That's not just an analysis, okay? That is a subscription to Kundum Come, okay? Kundum Come. Number two, contempt. When black folks questioned his Nolan Wells coverage, where he interviewed the friend and played judge, jury, and press secretary for the suspect while the investigation was still open, he called his own critics ignorant, melanated people. Sir, rule 1 in PR, do not insult the audience you claim that you are saving, because that's what you said. Number 3, identity for rent. He sat on Stephen A. Smith's panel and announced he's not black first, he's American first. That's cute. Good to know. Whoever is paying you is buying black condemnation. That's not courage. That's simply commerce. And never forget, tokens get spent.
This is Brandon Tatum.
Y'all just see what unfunny ex-comedian D.L. Hughley just said about me. Posted a picture of me and my wife. To do what? To be a racist? You are the lamest dude in all of comedy.
Brandon Tatum, you know that's a lie, because you be in them right wings, sir. I know you know better. I know you seen what them right wing comedy shows be looking like. So don't even try it with that. And this not going nowhere good. See, that's why you need people in your circle. You don't play with D.L. Hughley. Don't play with D.L. Huh? You end up looking like the people in the crowd during Comic View. Huh? You couldn't pay me to sit in the front row for a Comic View taping of D.L. Hughley.
What is more lame than calling yourself the job you used to have? You're not an officer anymore. You were a football player who failed at being a football player. You didn't make the team, so you became an officer. That wasn't working out, so you became an influencer. You talked about emotion. What is more emotional than this?
The word.
You cried for a white dude who the people didn't even think you worthy to speak at his funeral. You said you wouldn't cry for your son, but you cried for him. That's not emotion?
He got you there. He got you there. Not only did you cry when you found out about it, you cried again during the memorial because you was persona non grata. They had to ask you to quiet down so they could finish the service. That's happened. That's what happened.
You talked the way Benjamin Crump talks.
Just want to blame white folks. And so I go out there because I know that lame Al Sharpton and Mr. I can't read Benjamin Crump is just race hustling, y'all.
You talked about how those boys are innocent. You had proof. Now, I don't know whether they're innocent or not. I don't know what happened there. But I know one conversation with a failed football player and a social media influencer is not the predicate. You don't have any toxicology report. You don't have an autopsy report. You talked about black people acting a fool. Black people are right to be suspicious of a state that took 31 years and 3 trials to prosecute and find guilty the murder of Medgar Evers. Black people are right to be suspicious of a state that in 2005 found 215 black people that were dead and buried in a pauper's grave and nobody knew they were there. Black people are right to be suspicious of a state that just killed a 1-year-old boy and nobody's being brought to account about. Black people are right to be suspicious of a state that has been poisoning black people with the water since the 1960s. Black people didn't look for this fight. They want justice. All they want is accountability. And if it's those boys, it should be that. Nobody has a predetermined notion. I don't know what happened. But if you're saying that Al Sharpton and that Benjamin Crump are on one side, you're certainly on the other. You talk to them for 2 days and now all of a sudden you know if they're guilty. You know if they're innocent. You know that. Your name is, your moniker is Officer Tatum, not Detective Tatum. You didn't make your way to detective. You're an influencer who says what white people want you to say. And don't you find it interesting that they chose to speak to you, and they chose to speak to you for the same reason that you're a conservative, for the same reason Turning Point did, because you're safe. They know you're a black man who'll do what he's told. You're an unremarkable black man who they know they can count on to be obedient. They pick you for the same reason they pick dogs.
D.L. Hughley, don't insult dogs like that. Dogs did nothing. Dogs did nothing to deserve being associated with Brandon Tatum, but touche. And I absolutely love what he said about the predetermined notions that he has in his head that he's pushing forward. Because let's keep in mind, what we're looking for is transparency. Transparency and clarity, which has not been granted since day one of this story going viral. And that's indicting, because if transparency could clear everybody's name, you would be running to show that evidence.
What is very interesting to me is this is Nancy Grace.
I left to believe that he goes out swimming all on his own and the friend girl leaves, the mates from school leave, everybody just leaves him out in the water and he dies.
Now, Nancy Grace is a career prosecutor. She has tried 100 felony trials, 100, and not lost one. And she thinks that's something suspicious. But the social media influencer who failed at football and was a mediocre cop all of a sudden knows more than that. I don't know what happened. You don't know what happened. But I do know this. You said that a young woman with a pot of water acted so suspiciously that she should be shot by cops.
I think that this is justified, but it could have been avoided, but still justified. You can't throw boiling water on a police officer and not get shot.
Which, by the way, was proven not to be the case. And I don't think we've heard Brandon Tatum fall back from any of his Sonia Massey takes. And he certainly didn't give the money back neither.
But you don't think people that were on a boat with somebody in proximity to somebody and that person comes that day acting so suspicious they should be questioned? That's who you are. Debate you for what? What you are is what the people before you, you're Diamond and Silk, you're Candace Owens, you're Stacey Dash, you're that. And your career will age like avocados because that's what they do. There'll be somebody else that replaces you. I've been around for 40 years doing what I do, and you still know my name. You know how I got to know yours? Somebody sent me a alert.
Hey, why y'all didn't? Nah, I signed up for that. I swear I don't be getting my notifications, man. DL, sign me up, man.
They said, and you fit the bill. I don't know who you are, but I know what you are. I know what you do because I've seen people like you in my entire life. You can assail my career, but my career is longer than your life. You mentioned my name and I have no idea who you are. But I do know this, that one day when all of this is done, and it'll be after the next election cycle, when people are wondering who you are, when you go the way of the Larry Elders or the Sheriff Clarks or the Candace Owens or the Diamond and Silks or the Stacey Dashes or the Armstrong, like all of them, when you're there with them and you're wondering what happened, it's because you sold your soul for nothing.
Let me just say this, and I know people gonna clip this and get back, and I don't care. I really feel this way. I'm getting sick of black people, right? I like the black people like me and others that are conservative, that's smart, but the rest of y'all, I'm sick of y'all. It's hard to even want to be around black people, to be honest.
I have never once, and I've had a disagreement with a lot of black people that I've had disagreement, but I've never once had to make a video explaining I don't hate black people.
I do not hate black people. I know that people who are new to my channel, and you see people out there making these videos, it's comical to me because I don't understand how accountability leads to hate.
You said you can't teach me, you can't make me hate white people. You said that.
You want me to hate white people. I'm not doing it.
My question is it making you hate white people? I don't want that at all. What I want to know is, who the fuck taught you to hate us?
I believe it was Washington and Abraham Lincoln and Alexander Hamilton, Andrew Jackson. I don't know who won no other bills. I ain't seen nothing higher than a 20. Except for on a computer. So I don't know who won no other bills. I believe that is the answer. I believe that is the answer. But here is the thing, though, that is so fascinating. The best way to maintain a grift is to keep it just below the surface so that it can go on and on and on. And you can grift outside of prying eyes, out of plain sight, maybe in plain sight, for years. That is how you sustain a grift. But what the Nolan Wells case has done has unearthed and revealed one of the saddest, sorriest, sloppiest grifts going, which we all knew, but now everybody does. And you might be wondering, how is it that somebody can devolve to the point where they're sitting beside Nancy Grace, fumbling for the English language like me approaching a girl to ask for her phone number at Pentagon City Mall for the first time? Well, I'm glad you asked. That's going to be a whole nother video.
Next time on Who Raised Y'all?
I see a lot of people that are bewildered by Brandon Tatum, or Officer Tatum, as he is known. But I followed this dude for a long time. Not followed him, but followed him. And I totally get it. A lot of people don't get, like, what's up with this dude? Like, why is he talking so bad about black people? Why is he always taking sides of white people against black people? But I see this dude, like, right, first thing you need to know about Officer Tatum is that he was an aspiring football player. He went to college with a scholarship, and he was a highly, highly, highly touted pro prospect with the dreams of going pro. And something tells me that that's where his villain arc against black people began, because he didn't make it.